Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is IntheGamerTag and I'm back for your daily Fortnite video. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys basically how to improve your accuracy in Fortnite, specifically controller Fortnite. So whether you're playing controller on PC or if you're playing on a console like Xbox One, PS4, and even the Switch. So if you guys going to enjoy today's video or find it helpful, a like would be very much appreciated. On the contrary, if you genuinely dislike today's video, then feel free to leave a dislike. Also, if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. With that out of the way, let's hop right into the video. Now, when it comes to being a very above average player or just improving and becoming a great player overall, for Fortnite, there's a few aspects that we really need to focus and try to perfect. And those aspects are probably the most important factors of Fortnite and realistically what sets the game apart. So there's three things that I'm talking about. First of all is building. We all know building is one of the biggest aspects in Fortnite, and the way to improve building is simply by playing more, and with more experience comes obviously better building. Secondly is IQ, and this is essentially decision making. So whether you're going to push someone and engage in a fight or disengage, where you're going to land, so on and so forth. IQ is also something that comes with practice. Obviously, the more you practice, the higher IQ you're going to have. This is something that cannot necessarily be taught. And then thirdly and lastly, and definitely not least important, is gun skill, meaning accuracy essentially. So landing your shots, then learning how to deal with bloom, and so on and so forth. And accuracy and gun skill overall is something that, yes, practice definitely helps improve this, but this is also something that can be taught, and there's a lot of different things that you can tweak in your game style, as well as even in your settings, that's going to allow you guys to improve your accuracy quite a bit. So in today's video, I'm going to break down into subtopics of how essentially you can improve your accuracy for controller Fortnite. The most heavy hitting guns in the game are as follows: the heavy sniper, the golden infantry rifle, some of the heavy assault rifles, and then the combat shotgun. All of these have ridiculously small crosshairs, so having an insane amount of accuracy and improving accuracy from what it is right now is going to benefit you in lengths that I can't even describe. So let's go ahead and get right into this. So firstly, we're going to talk about the X and Y sensitivity settings. And basically, if you want to improve your accuracy, the main way to do this is lower both of these. Now, it's understandable why you'd have it pretty high because obviously it allows you to look around faster. And the X and Y sensitivity specifically refers to free aiming. So when you're not aimed down, let's say you're running around and looking around, this is what this will affect. And also the only weapons this will impact in terms of accuracy is going to be shotguns as well as SMGs. Because both of these weapons, there are times where you actually take shots with them without aiming down. So again, shotguns and SMGs are the only weapons affected by your sensitivity of X and Y. So again, lower it from what it is right now and I promise you'll immediately see an increase, simple as that. So if I feel like I really want to increase my accuracy, I'll simply lower it to like a 0.68 or maybe even a 0.618. So either half a decimal place or a full decimal place, and I promise you'll see an immediate improvement. That's basically how this goes, because when you have it too high, you're going to be over aiming and it's just basically going to lower your accuracy. So when you lower down your sensitivity just a little bit, then I guarantee you'll see an immediate improvement. However, in the slight off chance that it actually makes it worse, then you're going to want to raise it from what it was originally at. Continue to increase and decrease and just keep doing that over and over again, and eventually you'll find your sweet spot. Now moving on to the second point, this is going to be your targeting sensitivity. And targeting sensitivity simply refers to when you're aimed down sights. So if you have like an AR or something and you hold left trigger or L2 to aim down, this is what this sensitivity will affect. The weapons you do this with is pretty much ARs, SMGs, and shotguns. Majority of the time it's going to be with ARs. Now keeping your AR accuracy under control is very important, as these weapons have just about the biggest bloom out of any other weapon in the game, especially such weapons as the infantry rifle as well as the heavy assault rifle. When you take shots with them, the bloom is all over the place, so nailing down your accuracy is very important. Same thing goes as I talked about with the X and Y sensitivity. You want to lower it from what it is right now, probably about half a decimal place. So if yours is at a 0.4, then just lower it to a 0.35 and you'll probably see an immediate improvement. However, again, if you feel like that just made your accuracy even worse, then raise it from what it was originally at. Once again, increase and decrease and continue doing this until you find the perfect sweet spot for you. This is essentially how I've been optimizing my sensitivity forever and how pretty much everyone else does. Now for reference, my targeting sensitivity is actually currently set to a 0.300, and I usually keep it around this range. Now the third point in today's video is now moving on to our final sensitivity setting of this video, and this is going to be the scope sensitivity. The only weapons that will be impacted by this is snipers as well as scoped assault rifles, as these are the only two weapons currently that have any scope on them. So basically this one's obviously less important as you're not constantly using these weapons such as the other ones in today's video, however it's still important nonetheless. I currently have mine at a .567 for your own reference, and this has suited my needs for the longest time. A lot of people actually typically have their sensitivity for scope weapons way too high. I believe the average is set to around .75 or 0.8. So I promise you, if you lower it, you'll immediately see an improvement. And again, the scope sensitivity is something that you won't really see that much of an impact on as these weapons aren't constantly used. However, they're still very important, and improving the accuracy for these weapons is going to help you in one point or another. Now my fourth point of today's video to help us for accuracy is going to be actually the level in which we rest our crosshairs at. And obviously the crosshairs are the lines and the dot in the center of the screen. This of course is basically representing where you would be firing at. So most people typically rest theirs too low than what they should have. And this mainly is going to affect our shotgun accuracy as well as sometimes SMG accuracy. So if you're in a really close range battle, and let's say you're just running around and you see someone that kind of like pokes up out of nowhere and just catches you off guard. If you have your crosshairs too low, where you're resting them at, when you take a shot, you're probably going to land a body shot. However, if we get into the habit of raising our crosshairs a little bit higher when we're just simply running around or just looking around in general, when we go to take that first initial shot, we're probably then going to land our pellets on their head. It's going to deal a headshot, which is critical damage and could probably get us a one-shot elimination. That is why this is very important. So if you're playing in a game, and I'm sure we've all had this scenario, I personally have had this happen probably close to 100 times, where you take a shot at someone with the shotgun right off the bat and you'll deal like 40 damage, then they'll do it and then deal like 150 to 200. Reason being is just because of the crosshair placement. So chances are your crosshair was on their body whereas theirs was on your head, meaning they're resting their crosshair at the proper position whereas you are not. So simply just go into a game and raise it just slightly more than what you originally would, keep it at, and eventually after keeping it here for a while, this will then become a natural feeling. And I promise you'll see a strong improvement, especially for shotgun accuracy as well as SMG accuracy. Now the fifth point in today's video is using target practice creative modes. Obviously, as we all know, there's different creative game modes. When you load into creative, there's sometimes edit courses, death runs, parkour courses, so on and so forth. However, there are in fact creative maps that were specifically made to help people improve their accuracy. So when you load into these maps, you'll see that there's going to be like dummies or player models placed across certain points of the map, and all you have to do is simply just practice taking your shots at them. Also, there's other ones where there's going to be like red boxes, which pretty much represents a player, and you have to practice taking your shots at them. They have close range one for shotguns and SMGs, medium range ones for SMGs and ARs, and then they're going to have long range parts of the map where it is used for like snipers, as well as just typical long range shots with ARs. They bring different scenarios such as targeting. So one map in specific that comes in my mind is it'll have you run across a platform made out of ice. So you're basically going to be sliding. However, on one side of the wall, there's going to be boxes that you're intended to hit on. So whilst you're sliding, you basically have to track your crosshairs on the boxes as of course you're moving. So it kind of replicates like a real in-game scenario. And these help quite a lot, especially if you haven't played in a while and you hop on, just use these as a practice. In fact, a lot of pro players do this. They'll use edit courses as well as targeting courses before they play any games. This way they can warm up. And this in general just helps us in a lot of different in-game scenarios. Again, close range, medium range, and even long range, with all variants of weapons. Now the sixth method, and the second to last, is going to be the target ranges that are actually placed around the map. There's one near Dusty Divot, one near Lonely Lodge, and then there's one near Lucky Landing. Now these targeting ranges are basically where you step on a platform and then it'll have actually like targets that'll pop up at either close range, medium range, or long range, and you have to actually take shots at them. Now the reason I'm putting this in today's video is because it's really neat, the feature that it adds. There's going to be a little scoreboard somewhere near where you're standing, and you can see basically how many in a row you hit. It's kind of like a whack-a-mole game, whereas if you don't hit them in time, they'll go down, and then basically that's your score. I believe it only goes up to 9 and then it restarts. And for some of these, to reach 9 is actually quite difficult. Plus they're really challenging and sometimes very fun to do. So again, one near Dusty Divot, and this one is a close range one. There's one near Lonely Lodge, and this is the medium range one. And then there's one near Lucky Landing, and this is the very far range one. All of which can help you, of course, with different weapons. And now the seventh and final way of improving our accuracy for Fortnite is going to be actually something that's not in the game itself. and this is going to be analog sticks that are raised up. And of course, this is not in Fortnite, so this is something you're either going to have to purchase like outside of Fortnite. And this is something that really will help you quite a lot. However, they're kind of inexpensive at the same time, one of which is like Control Freaks, and I'm not sponsored to promote them in this video. I've just been using them for years and years now, and it definitely helps with your accuracy. So basically what you do is you place it on your right analog stick, which is what we use to aim, and it's raised up a little bit. And it seems pretty weird and unnatural at first. However, once you get used to it, the amount of improvement it gives to your accuracy is undescribable. And this also comes on controllers like the Xbox Elite controller, as well as SCUF controllers for Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So again, this can be purchased. I believe Control Freaks are like $5 to $8, and then obviously the controllers themselves are going to be a lot more money because it's an entire controller. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to add an 8th method into today's video because I honestly find this one to be probably the most important, to be completely honest, and this is practicing. Now obviously this goes without saying, practice, or the metaphor says practice makes perfect. Now obviously you cannot perfect your aim in Fortnite. It's probably going to be impossible to have 100% accuracy in Fortnite consistently. However, when I refer to practice, I mean getting in more engagements, so landing in populated areas like Salty Springs, the Mega Mall, and Neo Tilted, and pushing everyone that you see and just playing with an overly aggressive game style. I understand most of you guys watching this probably don't play like this, and that's completely understandable. However, if you do want to improve your accuracy and just get more practice, then this is what you're going to want to do. Just push every single person you see, and I promise you it'll help. The amount of people I have helped improve not only their accuracy but their gameplay in Fortnite overall, simply by playing over aggressively and telling them how to land, where to land, and how to play with over aggression is unbelievable. So again, land Neo Tilted, land Salty Springs and Mega Mall, and just push everyone you see, regardless if you're at a disadvantage or not. It's going to place you in different scenarios that you might be familiar in, as well as scenarios you're unfamiliar in. You'll learn basically how to improve your accuracy simply by putting yourself in these different scenarios. And I promise you, you'll see such an increase over time. This is probably the most important method of today's video. With that being said, that is all I wanted to talk about today's video. I gave you 8 ways to actually improve your accuracy in Fortnite. So if you guys enjoyed it or found it helpful, a like would be very much appreciated. Once again, on the contrary, if you genuinely disliked it, then feel free to leave a dislike. As well as if you're new around here and would like to see more daily Fortnite content like this in the future, then feel free to subscribe as well as turning on those post notifications. My name is AnyGamerTag. Thank you all for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Adios.